Greetings from the heavy
metal
Citadel.
And I am your host, Chernoglov.
And I'm Chort.
And we are here today with Laura, aka La.Likbør. You might know her from Instagram or from her beautiful shop, Evoke. And here at the Heavy Metal Citadel, we talk to everyone that's interesting. So from bands, from labels, fans, etc. So it's really exciting to have Laura here today.
Yeah, how are you?
Hey guys, so thanks. First of all, thanks a lot for having me here tonight, for carrying this interview with me. I'm very excited to talk to you. So as an introduction, so yeah, as you said, my name is Laura, also known as La.Likbør on Instagram. I am 30 years old. I am born in São Paulo, Brazil. I am half Lithuanian by descent, and I have lived in Germany for about 9 years now. So my interests and also topics I share on social media are mostly about music, specifically black metal festivals, then photography, traveling, and I still give some descriptions of my philosophy on life, and sometimes about my own shop, Evoke, as well. I actually haven't been showing so much about them recently, but yeah, that's mostly what I share there, and yeah.
Great. Wow. So very, very worldly, living all these different places. So, I mean, Brazil, Lithuania, Germany, you're very well traveled as well. And from what I've seen on sort of your Instagram and social, you've seen a lot of sort of live shows. Some are very sort of intimate and a few people.
At the top of a mountain.
Yeah, on the top of a mountain, a massive pyre, which is bad as hell.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're interested in all of this. Plus, again, like you said, Evoke your shop. And I'm personally very much interested in sort of the occult. So I would definitely like to pick your brain on that.
Mm-hmm. And I think I want to start with, you've got a huge Instagram following. I think as of this podcast, it's 118,000 followers. So maybe you can tell us a bit more, how did you get there? How's it like managing that? Do you get recognized in the streets nowadays?
Actually I get also, well, nowadays not really, but back then in the festivals, people used to stop and recognize me. So I actually started my Instagram account in the end of 2017, more or less. Okay. And because I started to enjoy photography, I was often out with my boyfriend taking photos, and we were just taking photos of each other, and I started liking it. So because we also live near of the Bavarian Alps, it was not difficult to find some of our favorite setups for pictures. So since we love traveling, so photography and traveling were always together, always wearing my merchandise, my band t-shirts, which is actually pretty much what I wear every single day. So so as I was also attending festivals, I was always sharing short clips of gigs I was attending, stories, just because personally I enjoy filming gigs anyway. It's a memory for me, just like photos, and I am a first world person, so these clips are most of the time pretty close to the stage. So over time I started seeing that the number of followers in my account was increasing, and it motivated me to go further with whatever I was doing, because honestly, I'm not sure. So
it was very organic then. It just sort of happened. You were posting about your trips, you're posting your photos, and suddenly you started getting this following.
Yes. So this is mostly like consistency. You have to be regularly there, and people must see that you are there. But at the end of the day, it's you are entertaining personality maybe to your following. So I mean, I am not that active on Instagram anymore, because as I said, it takes a lot of time. Yeah. So I mean, as tips, really, if you want to grow your social media platform, you just really need to be consistent, authentic, post and create quality stuff and write captions on your posts. Don't always write only about you. No, write cliche speech. Just be empathetic, because people must resonate with your content, or you must inspire them somehow, because people just don't follow you for nothing. So yeah, one must give it value, and most importantly, just also don't let a number or external validation be a proof of your value at default. Because also, honestly speaking, if you have to produce so much content for social media, when you actually have time to do what you actually love, so yeah, you just might end up frustrated and mentally unhealthy. So yeah, taking a bit of care of this. That's why I am not so much active on Instagram as I used to be. Let's see now in the coming months when more festivals should be happening. So I will be also very excited to be sharing clips of gigs, and yeah, let's see how it goes.
A lot of gigs coming up. So, I mean, we're personally very excited about it, and I know that we've got quite a few lined up that we want to go to. So very, very exciting. But I was going to ask, in terms of all that, it's a great summary, because I'm curious about what you think in terms of sort of the balance between being online and getting heard, but then also being, underground and sort of shunning the social media platforms, which for a lot of, especially up and coming black metal, artists or even potential public figures, they still want to sort of ride that fine line of not getting,
being true to yourself and what you believe in, and yet making sure that you're being heard and people can appreciate your art.
Especially because even what you were saying, you don't want to spend all your time on social media. Obviously, you've got other things with your band, you're practicing, you want to relax. So how do you think, in terms of like where, I guess, Instagram and social media has evolved, what is that balance? Is there a balance even anymore?
Well, I think first of all, it depends of what you really want, because nothing is easy. You have to give a lot to get what you want. So for me nowadays, the balance, like I don't grow my my account as I used to anymore. It's not growing that anymore. So, but for me, it's great now, because I feel like in a circle of friends, because it's a lot of people that has been following me already for a long time. So I always like to exchange some messages with them. So for me, this balance now, it's really to still share what I want without being afraid of what others will think, or if this will get more likes or not, because this really doesn't matter. It is what you feel about sharing, and still having time to do what you really want in reality outside of social media, because that's what life is about. It's not really social media. So yeah, when you see this small line between social media and reality, then you really see what you really want. So if it's growing social media, you have to give more time for that. If it's your real life in reality, then you have to give more time for this. So it's like, unfortunately, I have only 24 hours per day. So
Yeah, and I think, many bands will have to, nowadays, just to make sure that, they can make a living for their art, or not even a living, but just, make something from their art and get it out there. At some point, they have to be on there, but only, I guess, as you said, if it's coming from an authentic place and it's something you enjoy doing and interacting with your fans. And if you don't, well, then there's other places for you,
Yeah, but in principle, if you are creating good, authentic material, you are making good quality music, you will definitely be noted. There are always many other platforms that can promote you, just like on YouTube and podcasts like you guys are doing. So it's not really, I don't think it's maybe a huge effort to show up a little, and you can still dedicate a lot of time for your art. But I think in the days nowadays, this digital world, you still needed to do it at least a little, and or you do it only for patient, or you want to get the recognition for that. It's just depending of what you really want.
Great. And yeah, I mean, speaking of good quality music, I mean, yeah, just going through your Instagram, you've got all, a wide array of band shirts. I think, close to hundreds, if I'm right.
I might have around 300
t-shirts. Around 300, yeah. And honestly, it's such a good range of black metal from across the world. So, I mean, maybe tell us a little bit, about the kind of black metal you're enjoying nowadays. I see, you've been to a lot of Polish black metal gigs. You've been to seeing Mgła, Plaga, etc. Is there a kind of certain region you're looking into now where black metal is becoming really good, the scene is really strong, or are you just open to explore whatever? How do you find your black metal nowadays?
Well, nowadays I just listen to whatever sounds like interesting. Maybe, to discover new bands is just like, well, maybe this looks interesting, maybe something new posted on YouTube, and then I have some time, and then I listen to something new, and then suddenly it's like, wow, that when you finally find something awesome. But mostly over time, I really developed a sharp taste for Polish black metal scene and the Finnish black metal scene, and it's they have something that get more of my attention. So for example, nowadays I mostly listen to black metal. There was time in the past, of course, that I listen to other things also, but nowadays, many years I listen to black metal. So
the best stuff. Only the best.
I don't know. I can't really say how long it's been already, but I can surely say that it's around about the time I moved to Germany, because the influence here is so much bigger. In Brazil, is not that much. Luckily, I had some good influences. I was already listening to some bigger names in Brazil around 10 years ago more. Like Satirica and Dimmu Borg. Such as these names that are more now. Yeah. Now, so as I came to Germany, I started to discover more bands, and then I wanted to continue digging more for them. I started going to the festivals and discovering how many underground festivals there were. Was amazing. So back then I was already listening to Mgła, Plaga, Verdunkel, Behexen, to name just a few. Of course, Vendir was one of the bands that I was listening the most. That's why
I agree with you. That's the band that I started with in black metal properly, and it's one of my favorite bands ever.
I was going to say though, I don't think people appreciate the fact that how many languages do you speak, and also you have an insight. I love German black metal, Polish black metal, and I get a little bit of the Polish language sometimes because I get the Slavic roots, so I understand some of it. But you understand, I think, some of the lyrics a little bit more, so it was even easier, I would assume, to drench yourself into that sort of culture and just absorb it.
And talk to the bands too, and be at the shows.
Yeah, so for the language, well, more or less, I mostly communicate with them in English, and here in Europe, even in Europe, even in Germany, despite of also speaking German, for some reason we always end up speaking English because, and that English is still easier for me.
Yeah,
international language.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and
makes our job easier too.
Yeah, and just traveling to some other traveling to other countries and visiting the smaller festivals. I still remember so many times. There was one even in Poland, 2019. It was really awesome when Deus Morten played there, and I had the opportunity to exchange a few words with Nick Rosalden, and he's really, besides of being so talented, he's also a really kind and nice guy. So the scene is is really, I mean, everyone makes this bad guy faces, but everyone is just nice. It's
Yeah.
really-
No, I honestly, I think we do get that sort of traditional, black metal is very standoffish,
Super serious.
super serious, and
But
I think
it's
honestly,
pure.
No, I think it's either that is sort of the persona that they have committed, but in sort of on the one-to-one conversations they're a bit more open, or they're just so indifferent. And I feel like you get that with the Finns and the Swedes, and they just don't care. They're not rude or anything.
Of course. I mean, it comes back to authenticity, doesn't it?
True.
Like if that's who you are as a person,
they'll open up and talk to you, but they'll have this attitude where
they still don't give a fuck what they talk about, and
they don't give a fuck, which I kind of love even more so. But they're very welcoming. From what we received, it's been nothing but sort of a welcoming environment, really.
Yeah.
I remember watching one it was an interview. This Finnish interviewer guy that you probably know that he was interviewing Azaghal guys. And they were just literally, as you said, they just don't care. They just they make black metal because here in Finland is dark and depressing, and that's why we make black metal. But that's it.
I mean, they all come from these kinds of places, Bergen.
I hate to take a detour, but I was just about to say, in terms of so when I first saw sort of Gall visually, was in that documentary, I think.
The classic documentary, Headbanger's Journey, was it?
Exactly. And I think it was that famous scene now that's been played in
certain.
Yeah.
And he's drinking the cup of wine.
And it's like that 3-minute pause, and he's like, what's your biggest influence? Satan.
Edited to look a little bit.
Edited, exactly. But he looked so sort of, just ruthless and wouldn't give a fuck. But then he actually ended up coming over to London. And I think he did a wine tasting
of his favorite wines. He's a big wine aficionado, and he just sat at our table while we were doing the wine tasting. He's the nicest guy. You can tell he's passionate about what he does, whether that's making black metal or whether it's wine.
Yeah, he's absolutely like but again, it's still that he's serious. He knows what he's doing. He's educated and all that stuff. But he's not an asshole.
Yeah,
I think you'll actually be hard pressed to find real assholes in the black metal community.
Yeah, that's true. But assholes apart, they have the right to be if they want, but as long as they don't harm anyone, it's just okay. Just keep doing the good music.
Exactly.
And what else for bands? I could say. I can. Other influences are just to conclude. Like other influences that I have till nowadays, besides of all the names I have mentioned, and also in Finland, for example, the Finnish scene like Honor, BX, and Archgold are one of the bands that I really appreciated and were one of my main influences. Also.
The new album. Yeah, the album's really good.
Yeah. Have you seen the bands that you sort of love the most live? Because I'm curious what shows you've been to. Well, not lately, but what shows you've been to, I guess, in the last
top
2-3 years.
2-3 years. That's a hard one.
Well.
That's difficult because I have been to so many.
What's the most kind of memorable one maybe that stands out where the band did something unique or something you haven't seen before?
Human sacrifice. Any human sacrifice?
Human sacrifices, goat sacrifices, just other kind of small insect sacrifices,
yeah. Well, one of them, of course, is there is one also under the Black Sun. You might have heard also in Berlin. And there was a band called Curse Upon a Prayer, also from Finland.
Okay, that's a hard one. Sorry, how do you spell it? Do you know how you spell that? Just for our listeners.
Yeah, Curse Upon a Prayer.
Curse Upon a Prayer. There you go.
Yeah, and the lyrics are about against so more like this Muslim kind of. So it was quite interesting how he was just ripping off the Quran on the stage just to turn it apart, and it was really, really nice. In the same festival, there was also Druderzang. It's a very interesting German band that I really like, and they bring themes for like Krampus, lots of Bavarian. Yeah, that's really nice. So he was always really spitting blood, and yeah, I am really always, as I said, I am a first role person. I always need to be front. So yeah, this last time I got a lot of blood on my face.
I mean, that sounds, I'm jealous. I mean, first of all, I did want to say though, in terms of like black metal, I do like the fact that you can find stuff that sort of, it treats everything the same. So I know that, you know, the standard is that sort of anti-Christianity, church burning black metal, but then it treats everything else differently, sort of from the outside. Whereas black metal sort of treats everything the same. So if you're going like, you know, anti-Christianity, it'll go, burning every kind of religious doctrine. It doesn't want to do anything with religion. It'll be completely atheist or completely satanic. And I think that's something sort of endearing in a way, just because, you know, it stays true to what it is, which is, I don't want to do anything in terms of religion. I don't want to believe any stupid doctrine. Go fuck yourself. And this is who I am, which I really, that's kind of what I respect in black metal.
Yes, exactly. On the other hand, there's another band that's pretty much very much like anti-Christianity, and it's called Illumadora. And maybe you did, it's also from Germany, maybe you didn't.
I think we need another spelling there, Laura. Sorry.
No problem. It's Illumadora. Illumadora.
Illumadora. Yes. I think you did the music video with them, didn't you? We'll talk about that afterwards, but sorry, continue.
Yes, I just wanted to mention this because it was one of the nicest experiences with a black metal band, which, by the way, actually, Dennis, the singer, is ex-Zarathustra from, yeah, no, it's not active anymore, but have been always a fan. So I kind of got in touch with him because I was kind of asking if he had a Zarathustra t-shirt, but he didn't. So eventually, yeah, we just got to know each other, and he invited me to take part in this video clip, and it was really nice. Yeah, like all this bandage stuff and all this fake blood, actually.
Oh, yeah. It literally reminded me something out of like Pan's Labyrinth from the film. It was really sort of, it atmospherically just worked beautifully. And I think that even the photos that you posted, I think it was on Instagram, they just look so badass.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, in the end, the video turned out really, really nice for this last minute setup, I would say. So yeah, they are also a band that I really like. And by the way, they are playing at Thronefest this year. It's one that I'm really looking forward to attend.
And what is that?
Thronefest in Belgium, you know. You don't know that this year, like, because these guys really know what they are doing. They always bring some awesome bands. It's in Kortrijk. I think it's called like that. And then I have attended this festival twice, 2016 and 17. And they bring really great bands there. So, yeah, maybe you know this band called Spectral Wound.
Yeah.
Come on. I love those guys.
Yeah,
they are playing there. They are playing, and yeah, it's one of the reasons also why I'm going there, because I think Spectral Wounds have only three appointments, 3 gigs in Europe. So yeah, this. Another festival I'm really looking forward that you probably guys too. It's Cosmic Void in London.
Yes. Oh, so are you going to come down to London then?
Absolutely.
Oh, brilliant. That sounds great. We'll see you.
All around.
Yeah.
Beers all around.
Fantastic lineup, isn't it?
Yes, and yeah, I'm really looking forward to see Achilles because they sound so powerful, and
oh yeah. They barely play live, don't they? They're scary fucking bad. Just like they're looking at their artwork, it's like, wow, this is stuff out of a nightmare. But
yeah,
absolutely great black man. I think they're from the US or something.
Yes,
they're
exactly.
killer.
Yeah, and yeah, that's very look, it's very exciting.
Well, interesting. Okay, what we're gonna do now then is we're gonna take a break.
Yeah, just a quick one, and
Quick
listen
one.
to basically one of whatever you're listening to now.
Your favorite song, no pressure, go
That is-
right now. And any other band that isn't mentioned is gonna be insulted. So your only favorite song, go.
Yes, what should we play, Laura?
All right. I have many favorite songs, so I would just tell you something I listen today.
Preferably playable on Spotify as they pay us.
Yes.
Yeah, you can try one Thunderbolt from Poland.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're checking the old Spotify database that we have currently access to, and it's in here. Oh no,
Yeah.
sorry, I was looking at Toto.
Sorry.
Great artist.
What was that again?
Thunderbolt.
Thunderbolt.
Yeah.
We'll attempt to find them.
We'll attempt to find it, and we're gonna play it right now. So here you guys go. Enjoy, and we will be back in a second.
All right. Well, welcome back, Laura.
Welcome back. So first of all, neither of the original songs we were going to play were on Spotify. So we went with
I got confused with the German nocturnal. I know you said Australian, but I actually didn't know where that nocturnal was from.
I'm just gonna say Spotify sucks for black metal in general because not a week ago, Behemoth apparently released a new song, and it literally went like this. So I'm gonna go ahead and say Spotify is absolute dog shit when it comes to labeling black metal. So
except that we love you, Spotify, because we're on here. So
they don't even know.
So maybe that's the only reason. I honestly don't use Spotify. I actually downloaded just 10 minutes before we started because I wanted to listen to you.
Yeah,
Nice.
listen.
Where did you find it though? Was it Bandcamp?
Yeah, I just use Bandcamp.
Yeah,
Only.
good choice. We'll put that in the show notes then. We'll have your recommendation in the show notes so people can check it out.
Yeah,
Total support for these bands through proper channels where the bands get the actual money.
100%, which is of course Bandcamp, guys. For most musicians, but for black metal in general, go to Bandcamp. That's where you can get all the cool EPs, the LPs, the merchandise. The Spotify shit that we use is mostly just for ease of use. And when you do listen to their tracks, yes, they get some kind of like 0.00001% back, but yeah.
No, Bandcamp is where it's at.
Bandcamp, 100%.
And they support metal too.
And they support metal. So we are here. We're back with Laura. How are you?
I'm fine.
Not much has changed.
Not much has changed. It's been a couple of minutes. But I think the next thing we want to talk about is just obviously you have different things that you do. You're really active. And one of the things we want to talk about is really Evoke and just what it's like to be kind of an entrepreneur, kind of within the metal sphere, you could say, because it's still to do with the occult and all of these things.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe just tell us a bit more about Evoke and how that started.
Yeah, because you built it from the ground up, and we want to hear.
Yeah, Evoke was born after my philosophy on life. So if it's okay, I would start on that actually.
We would love to
100%.
hear about that. Yeah.
Yes.
Because it's kind of it's chronologically together. Somehow one came after another. So for me, it's been about 4 years since I started to uncover the occult. So my motivation were the topics covered in black metal lyrics, history, my inclination for spirituality, and the rising of interest for esotericism in general. So I am a follower of the left-hand path, so the antinomian path. So this which leads through self-mastery, self-deification. So the Luciferianism is the philosophy I can best relate with. So I say that in the modern sense, Lucifer and Satan became a symbol of liberty, also intellectual advancement. So much more different than portray it in the Dark Ages. Yeah. So obviously, it was not the first day that I had the understanding I have today. I was and still it was and it still is a lifelong pursuit. Yeah. So until you realize what it all means to you, you literally go into the abyss and try to make your way out from there. So for me, there's no really way out without uncovering your third eye. So it's also not about leaving the abyss behind, I would say, but knowing how to deal with it. So it's part of us. It's our primal state. We are all born from darkness, and we are all born ignorance. So many people are just dormant in their abyss most of the time, so lacking the knowledge, will, or persistence they need to change their state and uncover their full potential that may never manifest into this world. So unwilling to pursue goals, just sometimes because it's just difficult, So the point is really, each person is, so what I see is that each person is responsible for their own lives, so accountable for that. So and the problem is a lot of people are not aware of this fact. So always blaming, finding one to blame and being the victim. So I would say that the problem is that to identify the harmful thought, so that's the difficult part, because you are not conscious about it. So maybe because, I don't know, a misfortunate experience in your life, So yeah, I would say that from the moment you have this consciousness, you are really responsible for your life.
Yeah.
So you are the master who is able to change your life, So I believe that thoughts, I believe in energies. So I don't believe in deities. I don't believe one should worship any deity, because we are, like, as I said before, in Luciferianism, we seek godhood, so to become your own god. So I believe in energies, and so these energies create so these energies create energies, thoughts create energy, and we are responsible for how we use it on a daily basis. So the occult, I mean, a lot of people I think it's still confusing. The occult is not about secret societies trying to communicate with you through symbols.
And
so
and red-tailed figures. Yeah.
Hooded ceremonies.
That's exactly what I was going to say. Is sort of what, because I know that you said it sort of intertwines with philosophy and sort of discovering the philosophy that sort of worked for you. Was there a specific moment where sort of that, brought about this awakening? Because I mean, I've taken philosophy classes, and it really does open your eyes in terms of thinking in new and different ways. And I feel like, again, like the occult, Satanism, it gets sort of categorized as this almost sort of trivial, elementary, comedic almost approach to realizing a different path for yourself. Whereas a lot of people who actually are self-proclaimed, let's say, Satanists, are really just people who want to take control of their own lives, and they don't want to believe in, silly deities or dogmas that have absolutely nothing to do with the real world. And they
more
would
about
rather,
the self.
It's more about the self. And like you said, it's about cultivating the self, and it's about taking responsibility for, actions, whether they're positive or negative, that you've done, and trying to better yourself.
Exactly. I noticed that many paths actually leads to the same result. So it's just how you perform each path. Like, for example, Luciferianism or Satanism or Telema or any of those. It's always about the end effect of this. So it's just the way you feel this in your life, and just how you handle it is just because everything is really up to you, like how you react to things around you, how you perceive it, why would you judge things, or how you do judge things. So it's more about trying to figure out what is in you, what is your potential, what is harmful thoughts in you, and try to eliminate it, and to become a better person, and so don't actually blame others for your failures, because unfortunately you will not change anything.
Yeah.
And there was something I wanted to say in the beginning when you were saying, but I forgot. But
I'm sure we'll come back around to it.
Come back around, yeah.
Yeah. So for me, I remember what I want to say now. The moment I started to try to discover what is that actually, what is the occult, or what all that mean, was really because in my mind it was really not clear. Like when I listened to black metal, when I was seeing history, and just like what all that means. Just like actually before this, I felt depressed, because what is the point of it?
What is the point? That is exactly where I'm at as an atheist.
There.
Exactly. And when you understand what it's all about, I mean, today I can clearly say why I'm here, where I want to go, and what I need to do to get what I want. So I'm not saying that it's easy. It's just like, what you have to do. You just do it. So for me, I was very, very confused back then. Like, what is all this metal bands talking about Satanism, and is it about worshiping the devil, and we are all the puppets all the time, or the devil, or the Christians, or whatever? Just such questions, ignorant questions. I mean, but I mean, it's are questions that if you don't know, you just get confused. So I just started to understand that maybe I should start reading about something more deep into the topic, and slowly you started to get like more insight from what it is, more perspectives, what it's all about, and what are all those symbols, like what they mean, and are they just evil, and it's so different. It's difficult to say so much now, but it's,
I mean, I think personally, sort of one thing that I found, especially sort of with occults and Satanism, is the fact that people realize very much so that their destinies were more subjective rather than objective, and I think that's what a lot of people hide. Maybe hide isn't the right word, but a lot of people use sort of specific religions or dogmas or doctrines as a way to sort of protect themselves from the fact that, in my opinion, there is no real grand objective sort of reality for everyone, but it's very subjective. So whatever you find value in, you can dedicate your life and find value to that, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it will be the same for someone else.
Yeah, and I think it's right at all.
Or that it's right, because right and wrong, as Nietzsche, I love him, has said, it's all very subjective. So the fact that I think people need this sort of global, objective value is sort of what pushes them to believe in doctrines and religions and stuff like that. And it's a lot harder, honestly, to be subjective and just value things personally and say my life is going to be dedicated to one thing. It's not for everyone, but I'm going to pursue my entire life and existence for this one thing. It's a lot harder to do that than say there's millions of Christians out there, they're all going to be behind me in my belief, as opposed to saying one person is like, I believe in this one thing, I'm going to follow it regardless of what other people think.
Yeah, but listen, at the end of the day, it's also a simplification as well. It's like, what do I dedicate my time to? My goals are clear. I know I want to do this. Like you said, Laura, having a philosophy of life, whatever that may be, it kind of simplifies life. It's like the one decision that removes 1,000 decisions, because you live your life by some sort of set of principles.
Yeah.
And that makes it easier as you move through life, as you come to those kind of, fork in the road moments that based on your philosophy, okay, I know to take this one versus the other path, because this is who I am, and I know what kind of road I'm following.
And I think another thing with that is also, religions have the luxury of having culture and tradition, whereas individuals have to very much create that.
This is true.
They have to create it for themselves. Whereas, religion has all these these subtle things like going to church and the actions and all these acts, which again, subconsciously create this connection with everyone else. Whereas when you're an individual, very much wading into the waters by yourself, there's no one to really back you up there that much. I mean, there might be a few people, but when you look at this sort of the society, the larger whole, you're going at it alone.
Reliance on the self.
Fucking balls to sort of dedicate your life to that. So yeah, 100%. I
Yes.
couldn't agree with you more.
But I mean, on that side, and maybe a question to you, Laura, as well. Do you think, what do you say to people that, might say that, this kind of left-hand path is very narcissistic because it's so much about the self. It's about you. It's about what you want to do. What would you say to that those people, thinks it's a selfish path sometimes?
Well, that's really not, because this is very, as you said, subjective. We are not change anyone else out on our surroundings. It's about our own self. So this is our decision. It's our lives. We are not wanting to show off what we are to anyone. It's I would say it's more like a solitary path, because you are most of the time with your own thoughts, with your own development, and that's actually how I am mostly productive. I like to be alone to be mostly productive. So I don't see how it could be selfish. Maybe people could say that you are I don't know, arrogant, maybe because you are not a person who talks so much, but this is their opinion. That's not what we are. So the thing is, like, what you are, and you actually are free to don't have dogmatic beliefs. If you are a follower maybe of the right hand path, when you actually have limits imposed by religion or something. I mean,
some form of dogma.
Yeah, I don't see how. I mean,
again, I mean, this is what I believe, and I'm not gonna, like you said, I think you said it brilliantly as well. I'm not, and I don't think a lot of the people here are trying to push sort of this belief on other people. It's like, this is what I am. You do yourself and whatever you think is going to work for you, but this is who I am. So don't come at me with your different views. But on top of that, I would also say, in terms of other people thinking that this is narcissistic or maybe it's self-centered, I would almost argue, if you look at other dogmatic practices and beliefs, they're pushing their sort of doctrine on other people. And moreover, if this is a sort of a selfish nature view, you would have to ask yourself, listen, if I'm expecting everyone to believe the same way that I believe, then wouldn't you want it to be the most sort of humanitarian view? Because if I'm expecting everyone else to say, so if my belief is to say, I'm just going to do whatever the fuck I want, if everyone else is expecting to believe this, then they're just going to come up to me and punch me in the face. If I want to come up and punch them in the face, you better be ready to handle that. This is why I think people who are very individualistic, they think things through a lot more in terms of, are these actions going to create negative reactions?
Exactly.
Whereas when you have that herd mentality, it's just like, well, the herd says this is what we should do. We're going to do it anyways.
Yep.
Exactly. So the point is also, I think that people should really know what makes them happy. I think that's the most important thing in life. Looks sounds a bit cliche to say such a thing, but that's really the point. Is like, does it really make you happy?
Yeah, I 100% agree with you. I think most of whether it is dharma or whether it is something else, it's kind of striving towards that happiness, towards that contentment, and people choose kind of different paths along that route because ultimately, sometimes the point of life is just to enjoy it.
And sometimes the point is struggle, like Nietzsche said, where...
Please don't. I was trying to be positive.
No, let me tell you about Nietzsche. He said, the content life is boring, all right? Didn't he say, build your villages on the mounts of some volcano somewhere? Anyways, his whole...
Oh, yeah, but you're content in the risk and the danger.
Yeah, that's true. So he was basically saying, take the risk, take the danger, but make sure that you own it and don't say it was someone else's or something.
And that's why there are so many options, because every one of us is so different. And really, it's just, that's what's the best part is. There's something to kind of fit everyone.
And I just want to make a point. I don't want to be bashing anything, but I'm just saying a lot of beliefs that are sort of rooted in religions or doctrines, they're almost less understanding, I would find, than people who are a little bit more individualistic.
Yeah, 100%.
So it's a bit weird that we live in this society where that's the case. Is all I'm going to say. That's all I'm going to say. I'm not going to say anything else on that. And
There
Yeah,
you go.
the society, unfortunately, is I mean, a lot of people grew up in a society that actually imposed already all this pre-established ideas in their heads, So unfortunately, that's like most other people will, like, I mean, you really need to find your way out. So unless you were happy, okay, but if you not, have to do something to change, because I praise time a lot. I mean, I said I don't have any date, let's say so, but if there would be one, that would be time, because really time passes so fast, and when you see how quick it's everything gone, and like. Or you just procrastinated, which a lot of people do, and I can't understand that. Or you just do things, make things happen.
Exactly. And I mean, yeah, like you just said, it's one slow, but also at the same time, almost quick ride around this little rock, and then you're done. And it's like, what do you have to show for it? So I 100% agree in terms of procrastination. Get out there, do what you love. And yeah, because there's only one ride around this. Oh, fucking around.
I wish I mean, if we would only know what is after that, but yeah, we have to do.
We don't know.
We don't
and
know.
Also,
Oh, here we go. Please don't.
No,
No
nobody
more.
knows.
No more.
I don't
Here
care
we go.
what these religions tell you.
Okay,
No one
yeah.
knows what's after
Yeah,
this.
of course, no
because
one
we're all
knows.
humans. Listen, if I ask a random horse
The
in
void.
a stable,
Listen.
no,
yes.
if I ask a
Void.
random horse in a stable if he knows what happens after, he's gonna come up with some stupid shit.
I can tell you there might not be so much black metal in the
But
void,
listen,
though. That's why we got to listen to
That's
as much
very
as
sad.
possible right now.
Agree, but I'm not gonna attack anyone. I don't know. They don't know. I just want to live harmoniously. I don't want to mess anyone's life up.
Okay.
I don't want them to mess my life up, and that's it.
Exactly. That's exactly the point.
Now, Laura, you've got like a bunch of books you recommend on your Instagram as well. So someone who is kind of interested in the left-hand path, and you don't have to say all the books, maybe even just one regarding this topic. We'll put some in the show notes. But is there anything that you're kind of reading on this topic at the moment, or something that's really influenced your beliefs on this path? Let us know.
Yeah, currently, I am often actually reading different books, because I don't go one book straight. I interchange them. But if I would say that one book for someone who is just interested in knowing a little bit more of what is it all about, I really recommend, actually it's a booklet. It's just about 50 pages from the author Lucian Black, and it's a Luciferian order. It's just very, very small, and most everything we discussed it here, he brings this on this small booklet. And I would also recommend one of my favorite authors, which is Michael Ford. One of the books that I really, really like from him, that was the beginning. It's called Apotheosis. And the title says The Ultimate Beginner's Guide to Luciferianism and the Left-Hand Path, which was also one of my first books I read, mostly on the sin.
Yeah.
If you want, I can write this down also for you. So
we're definitely gonna need this in the description.
Yes.
I'm kind of struggling to type up apotheosis, but no, send it over to us. We'll put it in the show notes for everyone there.
Yeah, and I can also there is actually one event in Italy in June, which is the first event of the left-hand path. And it's going to be, I'm very, very excited about it. It will be 3 days with lots of lectures, and Michael Ford will be there also.
Wow.
It's going to be also our first no metal festival, so to say.
Whoa! No metal festival.
Nah, got a cancer, man, on this podcast.
No matter, but it's not a festival. I'm just like, it's just a,
Yeah, it's an event.
It's
Yeah,
an event of the left-hand path. So
of course.
Interesting. I can write this down also if you think that's going to be interesting also, because recently they posted that actually people can buy tickets to watch it online if someone can't attend it in present as well personally. So yeah, I think it will be very interesting. Very, very nice names, and they are just going to give some lectures. And I am mostly excited for Michael Ford. He's American and have wrote so many books. And yeah, I still couldn't read all of them, but it's on my list.
Yes, we only have so much time. Absolutely. No, it sounds really interesting. And I think when we started talking about the occult, you wanted to mention it before we got to Evoke and how, started up an entrepreneurial bit and how this kind of all fits in. So maybe you can tell us a little bit more about that.
Yes. So as I started having this new mentality, this new way of philosophy of life. So this flame of becoming an entrepreneur was born after this. So I am, as I said, I am a lot more productive and motivated when I am alone in my space. And I know that I am entirely responsible for my success. So of course, success is very relative. So each of us have different personalities. And for me, I am not really satisfied to do something without a purpose, which, okay, this is the normal case of having a normal job the whole day. But I am not bringing, I knew that I was not bringing my full potential into the system. So for me, it's more than just a salary every month. It's about living every single day without having to wish for the weekends my whole life. So based on it, and of course I had some motivation with my Instagram account back then.
Yep.
To create Evoke. So I started to think what I could do that could be interesting for other people, and it's also interesting for me. I know that what I created, it's actually reaching a much smaller niche than actually the metal scene, because what I bring into Evoke, it's a more spiritual thing than the metal, to say. So yeah, I have been creating candles, which is something that I really like to have for altar and for the experiences of energies. And so when people can relate it with me in the sense, I think that's something good for them. I won't say that this is what that's what can pay for my living, let's say so, because I still work for a company. So yeah, so I do both, and I enjoy doing it. So I have developed a lot of skills in it. So it's not just creating something. It was also about how to set up a shop, how to make everything. So pictures and marketing and finances and purchases and creation and just everything. So it's also a lot of programs you have to learn. So I was not skilled in all of this back then. So I learned it so much. So it gave me in this process with Evoke. I was also able to implement and test new ideas that gave me a lot of more possibilities. And every day is very exciting for me, because I really have an idea, and I already, you already have this feeling of just let me try it, let's just see what happens. If it doesn't work, all right, so I try something new again. So I would say that Evoke is it's a side hustle. It's just like definitely a kind of entrepreneurship.
Project. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's not my full-time work.
Of
Yeah,
course. Yeah, but I think you made a really, really good point there. And I think what many people forget when they go down entrepreneurial ventures is that, you want to build something in a way that you can't fail. So like you said, you're building this store, but at the same time, you're learning about, finances, you're learning about marketing, you're learning about all sorts of things. So, at the end of the day, whatever happens, you've learned so much.
Mhm.
And at the end of the day, there is a possibility of a successful business, which it really looks like. I've seen, the store website looks good. And, you're still learning about so many different things along the way. So
Only bettering yourself, essentially, which
Yeah.
is the
exactly.
root of what we're talking about earlier.
absolutely.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's why I wanted to make this part of the talk after, because that's this philosophy on life. It's what motivated me to do it, and it was good because I knew that even if I failed, I mean, of course, you started very enthusiastic and you think that everything will be awesome and great, but it's not always like this. It is not like this for me, and I still work a lot for to make it work. And I try new things also. So I know that even if it does not work, as I said, I try things like every day almost. So yeah, and I am enjoying it. So that's what is the most important for me. So that's what I meant with the success. I am the responsibility for your own success, which is also how you feel every single day. Because for me, it was not living for the weekends.
Yeah, absolutely agree.
Yeah. So
And I guess, I mean, that's a great way. We'll close our chat in a second, but I just want to have one last question for you. I think, I'm looking at, for example, your Facebook channel, somebody's asking about, are you ever going to, look into YouTube, maybe on black metal reviews and travel or something like that? And I guess what I'm thinking is, you've got, a wide opportunity of pathways for you now ahead. So what's next for you? Are you focusing on Evoke? Are you focusing on your Instagram channel? Is there something new on the horizon?
Yeah, I am focusing on Evoke. I am focusing on trying to build a new, how can I say that? Like maybe a new show.
Avenues, new niche.
A new niche, because in the end of the day, the niche where we are mostly in, it's very small, So, but trying to figure out something where I can really appreciate doing, which I really like. And my focus is mostly on Evoke. What else could say? My Instagram is just really, really nice to kind of hang out with people, most of, I would say like this. But I am not really giving so much time to it as I used to before. Because different than in the past, I work much more now than before. So wow. I am
treasuring yourself more and growing as a person.
Yeah. So
exactly.
And another thing that I wanted to do very much is going even deeper into the occult, learning more, because this is a topic that when it opened in my mind, I just want to know more. So if I am not on Instagram or doing some attending some gigs or working, I am probably reading my books. I still have a while to work on, and this is probably mostly what I am going to do next. Still doing.
That's excellent. Thank you so much for this.
It's been a pleasure to have you on. Really,
it's a true pleasure. I love how we just absolutely went into. I don't even know how long this episode is going to be, because it got very interesting, and it's probably going to be a lot longer than we usually do, which is totally fine. But Laura, thank you so much for being on again. We will do a second song that you'd like to play,
Yeah.
which I'm sure Spotify won't have.
Yeah, but they won't. But we will have it in the show notes. Absolutely.
Yeah, so please make it super obscure, and then we'll put something on, like, I don't know, so, something very easy to find on Spotify. No, just kidding. Yeah, why don't you let us know what we'd want to play, and then we'll play something that they have on Spotify.
Okay, I was going to suggest something but I don't think it's on Spotify because this band is very
Suggest it anyway. We love to hear it.
Underground.
okay. But I have a plan B in the other case. So it would be Xantotol. I even don't know how to pronounce it, but it's Xantotol. Xantotol. Yeah, and they are one of the, I mean, a great Polish black metal scene of the 90s, and a very great raw black metal.
They would never have it. We're just
No,
like,
I knew it.
Oh, Xantotol.
Oh yeah, Xantotol. Oh, yes.
No way.
Xantotol, yeah. Thus
One
spake
point.
Zarathustra.
Yeah.
One pointed to Spotify.
Wow.
Yeah.
Spotify, the least
There you
friendly
go.
black metal
Okay.
channel where we have
So
our
we
black
got
metal.
Conqueror, Coming the God Race, Aeon.
Devilish.
Which one?
Devilish. Maybe.
Let me see.
Let's look at here. Oh,
Yeah, we do. We do have it. Wow.
podcast is now just looking for
Amazing.
songs on Spotify.
No, but they do have it. And now we can tell people because
All right,
they've only got
guys.
143 listeners. So it's a
It
good
might get
exposure.
me into the platform eventually if they.
There you go.
I got it.
Yeah, absolutely. Listen, Laura, we'd love
Okay.
for you to play some black metal as well.
All right, we are now going to play that. So, guys, thank you very much for listening. Laura, thank you very much for attending. Again, if you guys want to check out Evoke, it is on. Instagram is where we follow you mostly. But did you want people to head over to your Bandcamp? What's the best way to reach out to you?
To me, right? You are asking.
Yeah, to you.
to get the merch to see
Yeah,
what you're doing.
of course, as Instagram, and when you follow the links, you can always send me an email because that's better for me to see the message actually. Because as I said, the Instagram messages, it's very messy, so they still didn't figure out how to make it better organized. So I gave up very much. Sometimes I see it, but to be sure. An email which is linked, and also through the link on Instagram, you can definitely get in touch with me over there.
Great. Thank you, Laura. Follow her at la.likbor, Likbor.
R. Letters are hard. La.Likbør, thank you so much. And again, guys, thank you for listening. And,
Thank you so much, guys.
Yeah, we hope you enjoyed it, Laura.
I did. It was really great. I
Great.
enjoyed it.
Have a good night.
Hope to see you guys at Cosmic Void in September.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be beers all around. Beers all around. That's how we're gonna have it. Beers all around. All right, guys.
Bye.